is he and is Restore Britain what it purports to be? Now, interestingly, we continue on the theme of vaccine damage, because here he is tweeting back in November 2024. If we can just pop that on screen now, the Department of Health has revealed that there have been nearly 500,000 adverse reaction reports, highlighted or underlined there. He then goes on to say forcing the vaccine on millions who had no need for it was entirely wrong. I mean, one might adjust that to forcing the vaccine on anyone was entirely wrong. Now, he's put out a series of tweets about this in recent weeks, going back to 13th of January. Britain needs a full inquiry into both COVID vaccine harms and also the wider health impact inflicted on the British people through lockdown measures and so forth. So he's very much setting out a case there for being against the authoritarian, tyrannical, corrupt measures that were put in place from 2020 onwards. What we must consider now is how do his own dealings stack up with that point of view? So we go to the Register of Interests in the on the Parliament website, and lo and behold, we see that he is a director of something called PE 487 Limited, concerned with freeze-drying pharma-related business. Now, what is this? It is an entity called Biopharma Process Systems Limited, and here he is shown as a director of this organisation, which he has been since 2009. And one of the standard industrial classifications for this organisation is research and experimental development on biotechnology. Well, what exactly does that mean? And we go to their website, Biopharma Group, and we find an article, or at least a web page entitled The Importance and Challenges of mRNA Vaccines and How the Correct Fill and Finish Equipment Can Support Your mRNA Ambitions. We'll look at a little bit of a text from this page, which says mRNA vaccinology is advantageous because it offers adaptability in both the number and type of antigenic determinants, and its versatility means that mRNA can be described as an attractive source of antigen, and the nature of mRNA leads to different advantageous benefits. Now, I'm not suggesting that Rupert Lowe wrote this, but nonetheless, he has been a director of this organisation for more than 15 years, and indeed he is in receipt of money from it. Quite clearly a facilitator in mRNA vaccine technology, which was at the heart of the problems with the COVID so-called vaccine. Now, one might consider that this is a one-off, but if we look further down the register of interests, we see that that's not actually the case. And indeed, he also has a shareholding in what's called Bluebird Holdings Limited. Now, this is an Ethiopian investment company that oversees 54 Capital. And in our history, we see that they have invested into Addis Pharmaceutical Factory, Ethiopia's largest pharmaceutical drug provider. Now, I'm not suggesting they've had anything to do with the COVID vaccines, but nonetheless, there is a pattern here, as identified or at least explained by the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, very much using the same MO as the likes of Bill Gates here, listed as it is 54 Capital in the investment opportunities in vaccine and essential medicines manufacturing in parts of the world that are in effect susceptible to the influence of Western organizations suggesting that they need to have certain medical products in order to treat conditions that they may or may not have. Now, I got in touch with Restore Britain to ask for a clarification on Rupert Lowe's position on this, because there does appear to be a significant conflict between what he says and what he does. And interestingly, the automatic response said, if appropriate, a member of our team will be in touch. Well, so far, it has not been appropriate to respond on the specific issue of mRNA vaccines. So I just close out by saying that it might also be of interest to note that when he was calling for the death penalty back in November of 2025, this coincided exactly with the Israeli parliament doing the same thing, about which I wrote in the previous edition of the Blindfold Briefing, a capital coincidence, which I would invite you to have a read of.
Well, you hope it stays peaceful and legal. But, you know, we've seen, and again, in response to the migrants, of course they shouldn't be allowing these people. I mean, we're quite clear they should be detaining and they should be deporting all illegal migrants. They are economic migrants, in my view, not asylum seekers. They've traveled through safe countries. They have no reason to be here, and they should be detained and deported straight away. And I think then we turn our attention to people who've been brought here legally, who aren't contributing to the country. They also need to be looked at, and we need to decide how they work. And then we also need to look at the 9 million people of working age who aren't contributing to our society. You know, they've been told it's okay to have mental health issues. It's okay to, you know, stay at home, not work.
9 million non-working working
9 million people. And
so how could you justify
we also have these schemes like Motability. I mean, the whole country is basically a fraud if you look at it. So, you know, these people get motor cars. I think I'm right in saying 13% of new car registrations is Motability, which basically
I'm ignorant of what you're saying. What is
Motability is like a sort of scheme. So if you tick enough boxes, you get a car paid for by the taxpayer, 3 named drivers, all the insurance, and every 3 years you change the car. I mean, the whole thing is complete nonsense.
You get a new car every 3 years?
Yeah, my friends buy old Motability vehicles when they've been used by these people who are on benefits.